Today, we're stepping ringside for a medical main event. In one corner, you've got a tough, established chemotherapy regimen, and in the other, a powerful new challenger. The prize? Finding a better first-line treatment for one of the absolute toughest cancers out there. So let's get into it and break down this head-to-head clinical trial.
To really get what's at stake here, you have to start with a pretty tough reality. Pancreatic cancer is just one of the most difficult cancers to treat. The 5-year survival rate is less than 5%. Now, that grim number is exactly why every single advance, every new piece of data we get is so incredibly critical. Researchers are in a constant race to find better options for patients.
Now this study, it's looking at a really specific challenge called locally advanced pancreatic cancer, or LAPC for short. So this isn't early-stage cancer, but it hasn't spread to distant organs yet either. What's happened is the tumor has wrapped itself around these essential major blood vessels, and that makes surgery to remove it, well, pretty much impossible. So doctors have to rely on things like chemotherapy to try and control the disease.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. Kind of like a championship fight. First, we'll size up the foe. Then, we'll meet the two contenders. We'll follow the fight round by round, first survival, then the counterpunch. Finally, we'll get the judge's decision and talk about what this all means for patients.
All right, first up, let's size up the opponent. This locally advanced pancreatic cancer is a huge clinical challenge. For years, the standard treatments, they really offered limited hope. But now, we've got two powerful combination therapies stepping into the ring as potential game changers.
So let's meet our two contenders. In one corner, you've got methylphenix. You can think of this one as the veteran heavyweight. It's a powerful 4-drug cocktail, and it's known for packing a serious punch, but it's also known for some pretty tough side effects. And in the other corner, we have GNP. It's a 2-drug combo of gemcitabine and nab-paclitaxel. This is the newer challenger, also really effective. So the big question is, which one's going to come out on top?
And that brings us to round one. This is the main event. In any cancer trial, this is the ultimate measure, overall survival. Which treatment helps patients live longer? Let's see what the tail of the tape tells us.
And wow, right away you can see what a huge leap forward this is. The old standard, a chemo called gemcitabine, gave patients about a 53% chance of surviving 1 year. But look at our contenders. Methylphenix is up over 77%, and GNP is over 82%. Both of these are massive improvement. But here's the thing. They're incredibly close to each other. So on survival alone, there really isn't a clear winner.
And this is where the story gets really, really interesting. When your survival rates are this close, it's basically a draw. So if you're a doctor, how in the world do you pick a champion? Well, you have to dig deeper. You've got to go to the other rounds of the fight.
So on to round two, the counterpunch. Here we're going to look beyond just survival. We'll measure how well each treatment actually works. That's its efficacy. And we'll also look at the toll it takes on the body. That's its safety profile.
And right out of the gate, GNP lands a solid blow. What we're looking at here is the response rate. That's the percentage of patients whose tumors actually visibly shrank from the treatment. For GNP, that number is over 42%. For methylphenix, it was closer to 31%. So in terms of just pure tumor shrinking power, that is a clear point for GNP.
And GNP lands another punch when we look at a key blood test. CA19-9 is a protein that acts as a tumor marker. Basically, when it goes down, it's a really good sign the treatment is working. GNP caused this marker to drop significantly in a whopping 85% of patients. Now, methylphenix was still very effective, but at a lower rate of about 57%. So, on two different measures of how well it works, GNP is clearly pulling ahead in this round.
But, a powerful punch can take a toll on the fighter. Efficacy is only half the story. Safety is the other half. This table shows us the rates of severe side effects, and it reveals a really clear trade-off. Methylphenix caused way more severe gut issues like diarrhea and loss of appetite, but then you look at GNP, and it caused more severe sensory neuropathy. That's nerve damage that can cause pain or numbness. So yeah, neither one is perfect. They just come with a different kind of price tag.
So, after all the rounds, it's time for the judge's decision. We've got a tie on survival, but GNP landed more punches when it came to efficacy.
And both treatments had their own unique safety trade-offs. So, how did the researchers call the fight?
And here it is, the verdict, straight from the study's conclusion. The researchers chose GNP. They pointed to 3 key reasons. It had a better response rate, a stronger effect on that CA19-9 biomarker, and, this is crucial, its gut-related side effects were much milder.
Let's just trace that final decision one more time, kind of like looking at the judges' scorecards. Okay, step 1, survival was a tie, and a really promising one. Step 2, GNP was clearly better at shrinking tumors, hands down. Step 3, GNP had milder gut toxicity. Patients had a lot less severe diarrhea and anorexia, which is huge for quality of life. And all that led to step 4. GNP was chosen as the winner to move on to the next big round of trials.
So, what's the big picture here? Why does this one winner-take-all trial matter so much for patients who are fighting pancreatic cancer?
So what are the biggest takeaways from this showdown? Well, first, and this is huge, it shows that progress is real. Both of these treatments are a massive leap forward. Second, it proves that the best treatment isn't just about survival, it's this delicate balance between power and how well a patient can tolerate it. And this trial was a stepping stone, so the winner, GNP, now gets to advance to an even bigger study. But I think most importantly, the final choice was patient-centric. It wasn't just about raw power, but about which powerful option patients could actually endure better.
And that really leaves us with a final, pretty deep thought that's right at the heart of modern cancer care. This study, it highlights that constant negotiation between fighting a disease as hard as you can and preserving a patient's quality of life. And it really forces us to ask, in the fight against cancer, when is a treatment's raw power worth the cost?